Strip everything down to image, word, idea. Without narrative, it means nothing. This is MJ. I'm an author, I'm an artist, I'm an analyzer. Welcome to my fully operational Star Wars analysis. On Our Terms is the title of this analysis. I'm talking about Book of Boba Fett Chapter 7. This is fully operational episode 63. So right at the top, I gotta ask, what did you think of the Book of Boba Fett Chapter 7? Are you happy with the end they gave us? And another question I'm going to address at the end is, did the creative team tell the story on their own terms? And I guess, how did you like that if they did? So, starting off with the credits, the Chapter 7 is entitled In the Name of Honor. It was directed by... That's not true. I have Dave Filoni here, but it's Robert Rodriguez. The writer was Jon Favreau. I don't know why I left that there, but I did, and now I'm going to change it. So, anyway... Who's Robert Burns? Oh, okay. Robert Rodriguez, there we go. The composer is Joseph Shirley, theme composer Ludwig Göransson, and it was originally aired February 9th, 2022. So this is going to be a full spoiler analysis, and I'll go ahead and jump right into it. So Armies of Few is the first thing, is my first topic. So the armies looked really small scale. This is a war, it's a turf war, it's a gang war, I guess. Knowing that there's a whole planet worth of pikes, Obadiah, I would imagine that they would have sent like 100, 200, I don't know, 1,000. I mean, our planet Earth there's 300 million Americans at least, or, America alone has 300 million people in it. If you take half of those are children, half of those are adults, it's 150 million. If you wanted to be sexist and only have men do it, then you take half of that, that's 75 million. If you only want to send the top, 10% of that, that's, how much would that be? I don't even know. But it'd be a huge number. It'd be like tens of thousands of people, I believe, or thousands of people. And the Pikes sent like 20 guys to do this war. It seemed kind of dumb. And I understand that the Pikes sending so few people allowed the, Freedom Town to send so few people as well and have it work with them joining forces with Boba and Din and Fennec and the Mod Squad. So, I mean, it all works technically because of the size, but they're basically using the Pikes to limit the size of the forces that Boba needed to counter them. I guess you could argue that in universe the reason they can't do this is because the New Republic is cracking down and is not allowing, so they're running, when I said something about gangs earlier, I was thinking of like The Godfather, which I've only seen like one time. I don't remember how big any of the mobs are. I believe there's 5 families total, and I think the Corleones are only fighting against one family in that movie. I don't think it's multiple factions, but there's not like 80 guys, it's like 10 guys, but it's one family in New York or New Jersey or wherever the heck they were. I don't know, I don't care. Chicago maybe? Anyway, it was like literally a family's at the center of it, and then they have their associates, their business colleagues, because they're running legitimate business, who are around them, and it makes sense that it's small. It's a family. It's way less than 100 people, but I don't think that. And it makes sense to me that on Tatooine, the other families are similarly sized, and it's a reasonable amount. It's, a few dozen people or whatever, a couple dozen. But yeah, the idea that the Pikes only sent this many people, and it was like less than 100, doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, and the only way that they were able to do anything against Boba was by convincing the other crime families on Tatooine to join forces with them. So they leveraged their manpower as opposed to bringing their own manpower against Boba, and I can understand why they would do that, and I guess you could also justify that's why there were so few Pikes, because they used the other families. But it just, I don't know, it doesn't jive for me, and it felt dumb, it felt weak. Anyway, that's the truth. Mando was incredible this episode. I really loved him and Boba actually flying around, and it was incredible just to see how lethal they can be and how many people they can take out, just 2 Mandalorians on their own with them and their armors, their arsenal armors. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, I liked him. I liked his like how he tried to deal with the Scorpion droid, I think they called it. How he was conflicted with Grogu, and he wanted to take care of him and help him and protect him, but he was in the thick of battle, so he couldn't do much. He was pretty heroic, and it was cool to see him, and I really liked him fighting with honor, but I'll touch on that later, because it has to do with Boba Fett as well. Grogu was cool. Seeing Grogu was cool. I was shocked that he came in with R2 flying the X-Wing, although I guess that makes sense that he can do that, and Luke was probably busy doing something else. But I guess this means Grogu made his choice, and it's funny, a lot of people were saying, oh, this isn't a real choice, and maybe it isn't. Maybe he'll go back eventually with the Jedi, but I kind of think he actually did make the choice. It was a binary set before Grogu. I don't think it was unfair. I think it's like, hey, live the life you want to live, and I think I talked about this. I know I talked about it, but I don't remember what I said now. And I might have let what I felt about it or thought about it be overruled by the fact that, hey, this is what's happening in the story, and I'm not going to headcanon this and, pretend and write, slash fiction with Din and Grogu. I'm sure that's out there somewhere. God forbid. Anyway, yeah, so, I don't care what I thought before. It makes sense to me that he did set a binary choice for him, and Grogu wasn't even that, his heart wasn't in it, but he wants to use the Force. So it'll be interesting. Will his abilities in the Force just wane over time, or will he live with Din for 80 years, 100 years, Din will die, and then he'll go to the Jedi? Maybe. Maybe that's a loophole that I don't think anybody's discussed really, but I'm kind of limiting my Star Wars commentary that I intake these days. So anyway, I don't know. Moving on, the Rancor. Seeing the Rancor in action was beautiful. The Rancor is not an unstoppable beast, but it is a mighty beast. Seeing Boba ride it was awesome, and seeing it rampage on its own was fabulous, and I loved it. It was delightful. It was delightful. As it was fighting the Scorpion droid, I thought I might want to see kaiju combat, big creature type stuff in Star Wars more often, because it was pretty cool. So anyway, I liked that. Moving on to stuff I didn't like so much. Assassination Let Down. So at they end the conflict with the Pikes anticlimactically by, I guess, having Fennec Shand herself go in and execute them. To me, they're in a closed room. Somehow she's able to shoot a couple of them. Then she lets down a wire, and the wire goes around the neck of one of the Pikes, and she strangles him. I think it was one of the guards, and then she jumps down and kills the main Pike leader on Tatooine, who had the Tuskens murdered, and they made it look like it was the speeder bike gang, the Klatooinian speeder bike gang. So that's interesting. But the scene didn't make sense. I'm not going to say it was poorly directed. Maybe it was. I don't know. I don't care. I'm not worried about hurting Robert Rodriguez's feelings. I'm not saying it was terrible. It was the worst thing I've ever seen. I'm just saying something about the scene was off, and I didn't like it, and it didn't make sense, and it didn't flow, and it just kind of interrupted. It was cool that she went in there and just killed all these guys, assassinated them, because, of the evil things that they had done, and they were getting in the way, and they were causing all this trouble for Tatooine, and they had to be removed. I get that. That's fine. But just the way it was done, it didn't feel triumphant or cool. It just felt like, oh, well, that happened, and she got out of there. She stabbed the guy in the back. That's the main guy. She stabbed him in the back. She strangled one dude, then she dropped down from out of nowhere, and then stabbed the guy in the back. And it was just, I don't know, it just didn't feel, something felt off about it, and I didn't like it too much. Then, since this is going into full spoilers, you've already seen this. Cybb Vanth was shot, and I guess everybody can stay alive for a really, really long time on Tatooine. Maybe the desert sands preserve them, because, Fennec Shand was saved by being taken to Dr. Quinn, Modifier Man, and, Dr. What did I call him? Wantes? Gantus? Anyway, so he, the guy who modified Fennec Shand to save her life is going to modify Cybb Vanth and make him, Cybb Vanth. And that should be cool to see. I don't know if that's going to be in Book of Boba Fett number 2, or I guess the next book or something, continuing in chapter 8, or if that means he's going on to Rangers of the New Republic, or where he's going, what he's doing. But, yeah, that's going to happen. So if you like that guy a lot, then you get to keep liking him. Moving on to Boba. I want to talk about Boba because this is the Book of Boba Fett. I'm concerned about the narrative of Boba Fett and how it works and how it plays out for him. So, oh, by the way, there were all these rumors that maybe what's her name? 13 Omega was going to show up in Book of Boba Fett, and for a split second, I saw like the white hair of the person in the bacta tank, and I thought, is that Omega? Somehow and I rewound it, and I saw, oh no, it's Cybb Vanth. Okay, that makes sense. Although I don't know why he's wearing a black shirt. Like, not that he should have. I would think he would have been bare chested, because like Boba was in his underwear in there all the time, and like, you're really going to take the time to like put a shirt on this guy when he's been all shot up? Like, I would think you wouldn't do that, but maybe that's the bacta procedure. If someone's got a real deep wound like that, you cover them with something, and then it helps the, blah blah blah, made up space science sci-fi reasons. Anyway, moving on to Boba. So he asks, he tells Din Djarin to escape, and when they're being set upon, and things are really tight. And which I gotta say, it was kind of weird that the siege on the Oasis or whatever is very reminiscent of the what is it, the Web or EB whatever cannon getting set up with Moff Gideon. Like, it feels very similar to the end of Mandalorian. I don't know. One of my favorite shows is Burn Notice, and it feels like towards the last 2 or 3 seasons, like it always ends up with them pinned down, under fire, outnumbered, outgunned, and they have to find a way out of it. Which, whatever. Hopefully we don't see it in Mando 3 that it's the exact same, and Book of Boba Fett 2, and hopefully Kenobi doesn't have it, because that would be lame. Anyway, so the Boba extends to Din an opportunity for him to leave, and he doesn't even know about Grogu being there or anything. So he's just telling him like, "Hey, I release you because I don't want you dying. I like you, I respect you, whatever. You don't have to die for me here. I'll die by myself. That's okay with me." And Din responds, "No, that's not. I gave you my word. I'm bound by creed or whatever he said." And Boba asks him, "Do you still believe in that Bantha Poodoo?" And Din answers yes, and then he's like, "Hey, we're gonna die as warriors." And then Boba kind of squares up and he says, "All right, I'll die as a warrior then too." And he was going to die anyway. He was going to let himself be killed, or he was going to, fight to the death, basically. And it's interesting to me because he calls it, Bantha Poodoo. He calls it worthless. He doesn't believe in the sect of the way, or whoops, he doesn't believe in the way of Mandalore, and he takes off his helmet. He does all these different things that aren't quite that. And I can't remember if he said he's no Mandalorian, but that is his armor, and it was just that Jango had it because he was given. So I know the whole Fets are Mandalorians, aren't Mandalorians. Oh boy, Mandalorians adopt or grow their ranks by use of adopting foundlings. That's part of the thing. So like, there's no real like racial or ethnic or whatever barrier to people being Mandalorians. So was Olmec wrong? Was Olmec not being racist? Was he just clarifying that no, the Fets are not Mandalorians, that they got their Mandalorian armor somewhere else? I think Jaster Moreel is on the code chain thing from back in Mando season 2. So anyway, I don't know. I don't know how it all works, and I don't know why like Jango wouldn't have been a foundling or adopted somehow into the Mandalorian way and be an official Mandalorian or whatever. But none of that really matters. But it just puts Boba on the outside of the rules and regulations of Mandalorians, whether they're of the Watch or not. And the fact is that he was willing to die like with honor in that sort of situation and stand side by side with Din. And I think that's interesting. And I don't know that would have been, pre-Return of the Jedi Boba, because he supposedly had this, big, huge arc where he was transformed as a person through his experiences with the Tatooinians? No, with the Sand People, Tusken Raiders. Anyway, moving on from there. Bane. So Boba has this big confrontation with Bane, and it's interesting. Bane accuses him of having gone soft, and he doesn't think, like, Bane has this weird thing where he wants to, like, tell Boba that he can't change, and he's telling him, like, you're still a killer, and I've known you, all your life, or whatever, and, I'm still better than you, blah, 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 and then, like, at the end, before he dies, he tells him, you're still a killer, like, no matter what. And then, continuing on, this dovetails in my next point. Boba tells Fennec Shan that, because people are bowing, his right arm's all banged up, and he has to keep, saluting them in a certain way. Oh, why does it have to be the right arm? And he tells her, like, I'm not sure people like us are cut out for this, but this is what he wanted. he wanted to be the daimyo of Tatooine. Or Mos, wherever he is. Mos Eisley, I guess, because that's where Jabba's palace is, right? Anyway, he wanted that, and isn't that Mos Espa? It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. He wants to be the daimyo there. But, is he, now that he's secured his daimyohood, his daimyoship, does he not want that? Is he realizing that there's something else he wants out of life, and it's to, I don't know, whatever. I just find that kind of odd. Is he trying to escape the life? He says he's not a hunter anymore. He wants to be this daimyo. And it's a different role because he's overseeing and he's protecting and he's, running a territory basically, which means that he's not going to kill, but he's willing to kill as part of that or have people killed as part of that. So it almost feels like a distinction without a difference. And I don't know really where to go from there. And I imagine that he's going to set up this, he's going to bring order basically, or help bring order to Tatooine. And he was really insistent on having the spice out of there. And that was before he knew that the Pikes had killed the Tuskens or had, murdered the Tuskens. So he's against drugs. He doesn't want to kill people in certain, I don't know that the Tuskens weren't using spice. They had no use for it, I guess. And they weren't, running it, or they were authorizing the running of it, basically, or under his agreement with them for the Pikes. That was his plan. But, gosh, I don't know. Is he, they have not sufficiently explained what's wrong with spice in the Star Wars universe as to why, nobody should use it or why, Boba would be against it. But I guess they're just leaning on, the, Star Wars is mainly an American thing, but the, the drug war here. So, I don't know, I just don't get that. And then, Boba Fett had gone soft, according to Cad Bane. I don't know. Has he? He still killed you, Bane. So it's hard to say. But I think he just wants something different out of life. But because we weren't with Boba in such close contact, and I'm not reading the Star Wars comics currently because I'm just not really interested in them. I don't have enough time. Somewhere between not interested enough and not enough time. I'm just sticking around for this stuff. I liked Mando. I liked Boba in Book of Boba Fett. So I'm interested. If they do a Mod Squad show, I probably will not be... Well... Yeah, at this point, I would not be checking it out. So, I'm interested in the Ahsoka show, the Luke Academy show, the Kenobi show, various shows, but not that. So, anyway, I'm ready to move on to the end. So, talking about the Whole Megillah, this is my current topic. So, the series as a whole, did I like it? Was it good? I liked it. I felt like there were a lot of issues with the narrative flow and structure. I think it should have all just been done chronologically. I didn't think we needed the flashbacks. I dislike certain characters, but overall, they proved their utility and usefulness, and they didn't really endear themselves to me, but just, I can accept them now and roll with it. And that's mostly the Mod Squad. I did love the comedy of the, whatever Tailhead's name is, and whatever role he plays, because that guy's just a sniveling, he's the worst sort of sniveling politician, and it was funny. It was funny how he was utilized. But yeah, I like the show overall. I would say it's probably less good than The Mandalorian. Mando season 1 versus 2. I think I like them equally well. I'm going to rate this a couple points below. So if I gave those a 4.5, I'd give this a 4.2 or a 4 maybe. I'd give it a 4 because just there were enough structural problems that could have been avoided. Yes, they could have been avoided, that I'm going to take it away from them. But, it's solid. So that's good. And then, I picked Fennec Shand kept talking about we need to do the battle on our terms and we can't let them force us into fighting a certain way or whatever. That felt kind of hollow. It felt kind of empty to me. But I do definitely think the creatives behind the show made the show on their own terms by doing the crazy narrative structure and all the stuff that they did. And yeah, you did it. Congratulations. But, and I still gave it a 4 out of 5. So, did you really hurt yourselves? No, but I think had you had it flow differently, I would have given it a 5. Or maybe I would have found something else to complain. Maybe I should take it down to a 3.5 then. I don't know. I'll think about it. But yeah, overall I liked the show. I thought it was fun. A lot of the fights were fun. Black Chrysanthemum going crazy on people was enjoyable. And yeah, I don't know what else I have to say. So I think I'm going to go ahead and stop right now because it's enough. So look forward to more Star Wars stuff from me. I'm not sure when. I don't know when Kenobi airs in relation to Book of Boba Fett. I think I would like to go back, focus on the movies, and if Kenobi's like a year away or 6 months away or something like that, like if it's in October, that would be good with me. I don't know if Mando season 3's out this year or what, but I'll definitely be back for those. And in the meantime, fully operational. It's going to go on semi-hiatus. I'm going to be focusing on other projects and writing other stuff, and then other shows that I'll be doing. Maybe I'll drop an announcement link in here if you're subscribed, which I hope you are. Go to mjmunoz.com. You can get subscribed there for the audio. There's an RSS feed and whatnot, because really the focus of these is audio, and I've decreased my reliance on the video aspect of these analyses as time has gone on, because I prefer working with the audio. I can host it all on my website. It's smaller, and it's just better for me. So anyway, look forward to something with the Star Wars films in the future. Hopefully I'll be able to get all 9 or so of those done before Kenobi or whatever comes out, and they might just release a lot more slowly. So I don't know. I also want to go back and check out all the Marvel comics, the Marvel Star Wars comics, and while I have Swinging Through Comics, which is where I talk about comic books and manga, I probably would just make that like fully operational content and just have it here, although who knows, it might appear in both feeds. You'll never know. You got to find out. Well, you will know if you find out and you subscribe to everything I do. So go over to mjmunoz.com and take care of that. With that, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here with just suggesting that, again, you subscribe to this, you go to mjmunoz.com, and you check out the author, analyzer, and artist feeds, and you can find all my work. I have a lot of stuff, and I'm going to keep producing more, and I'll probably never stop. So if you like what I did here, you'll probably like a lot of my other stuff. So go ahead and check that out. Anyway, I'm MJ. I'm signing out, and I leave you with peace and blessings.